Okay, so the media decides to pick who it likes and who it shouldn't like and who the people's hero should be. And I want to first ask you, which one of these two people do you believe is the conservative rock star?
You see, America understands that Washington has promised that they'd secure our borders, but they haven't. Washington told us that they would live by high ethical standards, but they haven't. Washington told us that they'd fix Social Security. Washington told us that they'd get us better health care and better education. Washington told us they'd get us a tax break for the middle-income Americans. Washington told us that they'd cut back on the earmarks and the pork barrel spending, and Washington told us they'd reduce our dependence on foreign oil, but they haven't. And who's going to get the job done?
That's choice one or second choice.
Door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
So are you going to have a moose hunter or a CEO and governor who didn't quit after a year and a half as the rock star of the conservative movement? That is the first question that I think, and Republican voters have been polled on this. And let me tell you that Romney is ahead of Palin for the Republican nomination in 2012. Not only is Palin in third place with all voters, she's in second place with conservative voters who put Romney 2 points ahead of her for the nomination. But that isn't the main topic of discussion. I'd like to talk about, first of all, the Connecticut Senate race. You know, this race has been really bothering me lately because I'm very concerned about the direction of the country. I don't want people who are going to support this reckless agenda to get elected. And Attorney General of Connecticut, Robert Blumenthal, may be a good man, but he did lie about his military record, and he would be a vote for cap and trade, government-regulated health care, and the closing of Guantanamo. I don't think that is the agenda that the American people want, and we now know that after the Scott Brown victory in Massachusetts. Then you have on the Republican side Linda McMahon. She is not a good candidate whatsoever. She has no qualifications. In fact, she hasn't really earned an honest living in her life. She was part of the WWE, which is a disgusting organization that takes part in a repulsive, false sport that brings in millions of dollars, and it's absolutely disgusting. And I don't think anybody like that should be part of the government. Now, I was happy 6 months ago because I thought former Congressman Rob Simmons would beat Senator Crist Dodd. Dodd drops out. The Attorney General gets in the race. He looks like to be a shoo-in. I think that the Republicans in Connecticut should, if they're going to lose, they should at least lose trying and put some effort into the campaign and put somebody up who has a lifetime of public service and a fiscally conservative record, not somebody who took part in a disgusting organization. And that's why I encourage, despite what the party bosses said at the convention, I encourage all Connecticut primary voters to vote for Rob Simmons in the Republican primary for Senate, because I think Connecticut needs it. After Chris Dodd, Connecticut needs a senator they can be proud of. They need a Lieberman-esque senator, if you will, somebody with who has an independent streak, a maverick streak. I think that would be good for Connecticut. And in Rob Simmons, they have somebody who is fiscally conservative but may have an independent streak from here or there. I think that works well in blue states where you have moderate Republicans. You know, it's always best to have conservative Republicans like we do in Scott Brown or like the voters in New Jersey and Virginia elected. You know, preferably a conservative, but moderates are fine too at times. And you know, I'm not saying Linda McMahon is too conservative. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I don't know where she really stands because she really doesn't have much going for her. And the last thing that I want to say is speaking of conservatism, I think Florida has a clear conservative choice in Marco Rubio, and I'm very upset about the polls that show Governor Crist ahead. I think that eventually voters are going to realize Charlie Crist is too liberal to be the senator from Florida, and we need a true conservative in that state the voters are such that you could have a true conservative win, and that would be Marco Rubio. And I look forward to. I hope he gets elected.